Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Show Me the Money Line, EDF's betting podcast. I'm here with Mr. Lockstar Picks. I know you guys all know him. You guys listen to him. You guys have made some money with him on Twitter. Lockstar, how's it going today?
Going great. Ready to make some more money. Let's get it.
That's what I was going to say. Let's make some money. Okay. Man, we got this game going on tonight, and it's Boston and Miami. And I know we all saw the first game and all that, but what'd you think of the last one, though? The end of that series, Game 7 of Boston and Milwaukee.
I mean, that's what happens when you don't have Chris Middleton at the end of the day, in my opinion. They just
100%.
Honestly, that's what happens when you don't pay PJ Tucker. So I just thought they just didn't have the right personnel defensively, just getting out to the perimeter, switching, rotating. They're just a little slow with Giannis, Bobby, and Brook Lopez all on the court. Chris Middleton just wasn't that first option, be able to create space off the ball. You can't just have Giannis going downhill all the time, even though he had one of the craziest series ever.
Yeah.
NBA history statistically. He still doesn't have that move where in the mid-range or beyond or even spot on the floor where you can go to, and it's just you need to step up on him. So the fact that a defense can have an option to lay off on him on a third of the court,
yeah,
I don't think that's just a recipe for success. Even if they did make it out of that round, I still don't see them beating Miami Heat or even a Golden State Warriors.
And you know what's funny is I saw this thing on Tucker, and it showed him as being the third worst offensive player in NBA. You know, if you go by the stats of the minutes and the points scored and all that. But what's funny is almost what you said, because even a guy like that who's considered the third worst offensive player, whatever, his defense is why Milwaukee lost. Without him there, that made such a big difference in Milwaukee and Middleton, of course, but.
And let me tell you, I think I wrote this down about PJ or someone. It was someone else.
It's all the little things that he does, though. I mean, look at what he's doing right now in Miami. I mean,
he has been really efficient, even at home in the playoffs. PJ Tucker's shooting 60%, even though it's only 3 or 4 shots a game.
Mm-hmm.
It's really efficient. That corner shot is just where he lives. But yeah, not having that option, even just to switch and just play all 3 levels of defense, that hurt Milwaukee big time.
Right. Let me ask you one more quick question too. What do you think of Jason Tatum's game in the whole playoffs, but in that last game especially, and then going into this game 1 that we just saw there too? What do you think of his game going right now?
Makes me smile watching him play. Oh my gosh. But tough outing in Miami, but I think he's going to respond big time. He's going to have Horford back. That's going to definitely –
Is he coming back?
I looked on the depth chart. Did not say he was out or day-to-day. It said that he was good to go.
I get the NBA reports. I just haven't looked today. But, yeah, that will help him greatly then. But, yeah, he's kind of put himself in a different category, man. You talk about you have to do it when it counts. You have to hit those shots. We all know in the playoffs, you can't miss a couple shots, get down, think you can come back. And he responds right now at the perfect time. He hits all the craziest shots. Guys are right here. They're he'll nail the shot right now. He's playing on fire right now.
Yeah, he's taking down name after name, basically the gatekeepers of what's been keeping him from the finals the past few years. You've taken down Giannis, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie, all former champions that had just said you're just not ready. And then,
you're right. But let me ask you something though. Does he have enough to take this in the end? Because you're right. He's been knocking those off, and that's probably my biggest concern with the Celtics themselves, is that they get to this point and they fail. Coach after coach. This is now the third coach where they've had teams to get this far, and they don't go no more. So did he reach the point now though where this is it? This is the one where he says there's no more. This is the year.
Yeah, when last time when us and Jack were on the show, I said, will the growing pains ever stop for Boston and Jason Tatum? I think this is the year. He definitely there's a trifecta going into the finals, taking down a third big name, Jimmy Butler, who's gonna average at least 35 or 34 points this series. Regardless, if Boston's front court can stay healthy throughout the series, it's gonna be a big test for Bam Adebayo. Honestly, he had a really underwhelming performance in my opinion. Only 10 points, 4 rebounds in 37 minutes, -5 plus minus on the court. He had 4 blocks, doing a good part on ball, guarding on defense. But at the same time, if you're trying to be that max level player, you gotta get more than 4 rebounds.
Yeah, and most of that was all the second half too. I mean, that first half was awful by Miami, and just the same went the other way. Like the second half was awful for Boston. I don't know what happened to their whole shooting just kind of left. And you know what it looked like too is like, you know, when it starts to rain and it just starts to pour, like they threw that ball, it got intercepted, then they throw another one, and it's at that point where almost you go like, oh, see, here it goes. You know, it just starts going.
Yeah, I think just it's always gonna be hard being the road team game one, especially in these like later rounds. But I just lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
With Al Horford coming back in, and the way he was just like fearless going up against Giannis, it's gonna be very interesting how Bam is gonna respond to that and seeing him for the first time, especially if he plays today. If the depth chart didn't lie to me, but
yeah. No, it'll make a difference, and Bam will have to play the whole game. That half a game ain't gonna work. They got lucky. They got a lot lucky that Boston fell like they did. The Boston could even just did half of what they did, they would have still won that game, you know. But they proved, man, that what was it, 22-2 run or something like that to start it off. You can't do that in the playoffs. You see, it doesn't come back. But so that brings me though to this game, the game 2. So we have what we have, and they're still in Miami. And here's what I've been doing wrong. Now, I've had a bad playoffs on this betting thing, and that's okay. I killed it in the regular season, but I'm a minute. I've been going downhill in the playoffs here, but this is why. Because I left myself. So I'm going back to what I know, and I'm going back to the fact that we know in the playoffs, like you said, this late, Eastern Conference Finals, I'm going with the home team. Because you're supposed to win. Like Golden State, quit dancing around because you won game 1. You're supposed to win game 1. You were at home, you know, walk off and say, okay, we did what we had to do today. You know, dance if you go into game 3 and win in Dallas. Dance all you want to, and I'll be happy for you because you did something. But right now, you only did what you're supposed to do. So I'm going back to the basics. What I know is you're at home in this late, you win that game, right? Playoffs don't start till the road team wins, right? So if the playoffs start tonight, then I lose. But I'm going with the Heat at home. And then not only that, but I'm going against my normal money line. Show me the money line. I'm going against the money line. I'm actually going to take the points today with the Heat because it's a better odds. So I feel the Heat are going to win. I might as well take the better odds in it, right?
There we go. I'm actually going to say, for the same reason, series doesn't start till the road team wins. So I think Miami evens it up tonight. Marcus Smart coming back too.
Boston. Yeah.
Is
Smart coming back too, CD? I missed all that today.
Yeah. Marcus Smart's in the lineup. Right now, the injuries, well, he's a game time decision. If he plays, though, you're only getting the defensive player of the year back. Regardless of how efficient he's going to shoot first game coming off an injury. He's still leading the team in assists in the playoffs on the road with 6.8 assists, shooting 40%, 6.6 3-point attempts a game. So,
and it's also him just being on the floor.
Just him being on the floor with the ball in his hands. The pace is going to be a lot more. I wouldn't say a lot more, but Boston will be able to facilitate the pace a little bit better than not having Marcus Smart, just being the pure point guard that he is, playmaking ability that he has. I think the sets that Boston's going to run tonight are going to look a lot different than game one, just from the personnel that they're.
So you're going to take these 2 points?
I'm taking the money line, Boston.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Odds are +2, probably like
Ooh,
+110 or something like that.
110, yeah.
So
Hey, that's not too bad. I mean, that's as good as it gets. Yeah. All right. How about the over and under? It's right now. I just looked at it before we came on, and now I can't even read my own damn writing. I think it's 206 though. No. Yeah. 206.5.
Okay, it went down. I had the under of 207.
And I have the under too. So, I mean, even at the 206, I still went the under because I think it's going to be both of these guys. First of all, Miami has shown you what kind of defense they have. And like we were talking about with Tucker, like he makes a difference and he's helped them and just their help defense altogether. They know what they're doing, that Miami style, and that's going to be lower. Boston, we know, can kill at defense. I don't think of any of the 5 on there that can't play defense on Boston's starting 5. I don't see it. I can't see it getting that high.
Yeah, Boston, Miami definitely have the best 2 defenses left in the playoffs, in my opinion. And given what we've seen just in this series, one game, given it's only one game, I'm giving the edge to the Miami defense right now just because they are just dealing with less injuries overall, especially in the front court, which is huge in the playoffs. But some big injuries for Miami tonight. Gabe Vincent, I think for personal reasons, or Derek White's for personal reasons, but Gabe Vincent.
No way.
And Max Strus is hurt as well. Those guys are combining for over 12 3-point shots a game.
Damn, there goes my prop I was going to pull out here in a minute. Shit.
There you go.
Is he just injured, Strauss, or is he gonna play? Does it say, or?
He has a hamstring, so it's a game time decision.
Oh, shit.
But if he doesn't play, someone who has to take those shots for him, he's getting at home. These playoffs at home, he has a little over 7 3-pointer shots a game, over 34%. Duncan Robinson shooting around a little over 50% right now, even though he's only shooting around like 4 shots a game. He's probably going to take a few of Strus's shots.
Yeah, he's gonna have to step up finally.
I'm looking at Oladipo off the bench to step up too. He was 2 for 9 game 1.
Yes, for
5
sure.
points, 1 rebound in 15 minutes. I think you need at least.
Well, I got to change this then, but I had this Max Strauss for 3 3-pointers and a Miami win. That was going at a +139. I figured I said Miami was going to win anyway. I figured Strauss was going to hit those 3 because he's been off lately, and no better time than game 2 to catch fire, but not with the hamstring. So I'll probably pull that one back out. But tell me about this one. The other one I have is Tatum 35 plus. And Boston point total of 102. And that's where we get with that over and under again with them getting to 102. But what do you think?
Tatum line again?
35 plus and Boston point total of 102.5. Got to be over 102.5. So 103.
I got the under on that. I don't see either team's going over 100 today.
Okay, so that was going off at a +236, so it was a little higher. Yeah, that changes some things, though. It really does. If Vincent's not playing, if Smart comes back, if it's going to be a heck of a game. But I can't do that to myself, so I'm going to stay true and see if this works for me. I'm going to stay with the home team. That's how I'm going to do it this time. Before we move on to the next one, if you had to give me 2 keys to this game for each team, what would they be?
Miami has to rebound a lot better. No one had over 10 rebounds last game.
Really?
Yeah. And they let Jaylen Brown get 10 rebounds, and he led the team. He led the game in rebounds, game 1. So they're gonna have to control the boards a little bit better. Even though multiple, I'd say like trying to off the top of my head, there was probably like 6 or 7 guys that had over 6 rebounds that game. I'd still say someone needs to dominate that part of the floor a little bit more. Again, you have to look at your main guys that are starting. PJ Tucker needs to play great defense again. And the second key would be Jimmy Butler needs to have a repeat performance of game 1 if they want to win this game. For Boston, they need to be a lot cleaner with the ball, a lot less turnovers, so many sloppy passes that were intercepted for easy, fast break layup. With Marcus Smart back on the floor, though, I think they'll be able to play a lot cleaner on the offensive end, just facilitating the ball. And Al Horford needs to be aggressive against Bam and really establish himself this series.
He could be the difference here. You know that?
Definitely.
He really could. Because if he goes in there and plays like he did against Giannis, against Bam, not to be mean here, but he'll tear Bam up if he plays that same way, because Giannis is way better than Bam. No offense against Bam. I like him. I like his game. I think he's good. But, you know what I'm saying. He's much better. So if he plays that same way, he could be a real difference maker in this series.
Definitely. I agree.
So for me, I had Miami. They missed a lot of open. I mean, they had so many open shots. It was unreal how sometimes like Boston almost froze, you know. And then they didn't hit none of them. They kept dinging those open shots in that first. They have to do that when you're in the playoffs. You have to hit those shots, you know. And then just like you said for Boston, I think stop with those turnovers, man. They had 100 turnovers. It seemed like every play they had. And again, like I told you earlier, if they would have just did half that bad, they could have won that game still, instead of just totally stinking it up like they went into, you know. So yeah, if they just calm down, you know what I always say, when you get into those situations, just throw it to Tatum and get out of the way. Then, you know, when you get in those situations where it's starting to get away from you, like, just everybody go to one side, give it to Tatum on that side, and say, get us a bucket. You know, I mean, that's what a superstar is supposed to be, right? That's what you do when you can't let it go 22-2. You have to stop that run somewhere in that 12, 10 mark at least, by telling your superstar, here's the ball, get us a bucket. You know, you see Miami does it, but Butler does it for Miami all the time. Whenever they start to even remotely get a run on them, he just takes the ball, you know, and does what Jimmy does, but sometimes good, sometimes not so good, right? But yeah, that's him. So those are the keys, I think, there. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and stick with the Heat. You got Boston to make this a series right now, which there's a part of me, since I have no real stake in this whole series of either team that I like, I almost want Boston to win just so the series can heat up, you know, like
there we go.
That'll be good. Let's talk a little bit about Golden State and the Mavericks, but I want you to talk to me about Golden State and Memphis. That last game and the way that what was it? Last two to three games they didn't have Ja. Did any of that matter? They would have took the series anyway, right?
Yeah, I had Warriors in 6 regardless, but it stinks that we couldn't see Ja finish out the series, and this is kind of what I expected out of the Golden State Warriors so far. Everyone's kind of just playing their role right now. Jordan Poole is playing phenomenal. This is going to be the first series that they have to play against like a full team with a fully healthy roster. I just think the depth that Golden State has is still too much to overcome for Dallas this series. Even though Luka is going to win a few games by doing Luka, I still don't give Dallas more than 2 games over Golden State.
Really? So tomorrow's night's line, I mean, like that first game, that was again, to me, that was expected. Golden State should have won. They're a good team. They know how to do this. It's not like they haven't been there before. They know what they're doing. So going into game one, I mean, you would have been in real trouble had you lost. To me, that would have said way more than you winning, because you're supposed to. You're the Golden State Warriors. But so I don't really take much stock into that really. But I think to me, Golden State has an opportunity here. They walked through, not a good Denver Nuggets team, a Memphis team which was young, without their star, which I'm kind of with you. I don't care if Ja would have been there. I don't think that would have made a difference any iota. I think Golden State would have still walked off with that one. And then now you get Dallas when you should have had the Suns, when you thought that was going to be your test, and now you got Dallas. So to me, Golden State, take advantage of this. Win this series, win this time, get into those playoffs, because after this, the league changes next year. The West changes next year. And I don't see this Warriors team as it sits doing anything more from here on out. So to me, this is their last run as a solid team that they've been. I mean, they've been doing this since 2015. That was their first title, their first run with these guys. 2015.
Was it earlier?
Yeah. So I mean, but anyways, as far as this game goes, they are a 6.5-point favorite in this game. What are you taking this time? You taking the money line, or you taking that six? You giving that 6.5?
I don't know. The reason why Dallas got just destroyed was because they just couldn't shoot the ball for their lives.
Yeah. You're completely 100%. How would they hit 2 for 13 or something stupid like that in the first half? From 3?
Yeah. Dinwiddie really came through last round.
Yeah.
Step it up again. But yeah, this series just rides and dies on Luka. He's just playing on another level, just like Jason Tatum, if not better.
Yeah.
And it's just been fun to watch him just control a game the way he does. So, and props to Jason Kidd also getting through Phoenix and just kind of being able to make those adjustments throughout the series.
Which is something I don't think coaches do a lot of nowadays. I think that's why he won. Most coaches, that they do their thing. We're going to do our thing. We're going to do, and he said, "Hey, well, hold on. If we do our thing, we're going to get smacked. Look what they did to us. Let's change it up."
I think there's definitely a few coaches you can say that for, but I wouldn't say that for any of the coaches that are remaining in the playoffs. I think, like, you look at, I'm trying to think of just the 2 Western Conference coaches, Jason Kidd and Steve Kerr, 2 former point guards that played in the NBA that both won championships, so understand what it takes to win in the playoffs and understand losing in the playoffs as well. So just through that experience, they know more than anyone what in-game adjustments mean and post-game adjustments mean in terms of like their game plan and approach game out. There's certainly a lot more chess that's involved playing a Golden State Warriors than versus Golden State. Like, being Jason Kidd playing the Warriors is probably a lot more of a mind game than the Warriors coaching against the Mavericks. Just based off the Warrior system, their off-ball movement, their sets that they run, and just the weapons that they have. They have 4. What's his name? Looney. If Looney's on the court, you have 4 dynamic scoring options that play with extreme chemistry and are kind of unpredictable when they have certain sets going on. So it's like coaching against that with a limited roster that's, I guess you can say the injury would be Tim Hardaway Jr., but he's been injured for so long, he's kind of been on the team, you wouldn't count him as an injury at this point.
Yeah.
But like they just played without him for so long. But yeah, I just think it's just the depth that Golden State has and the length they have and the athleticism they have. I just think that it's going to take a bad shooting day and a 40-piece from Luka for the Dallas Mavericks to win a game against the Warriors.
Yeah. You want to hear? I heard this story about Jason Kidd talking about how he changed it. They said after game 2 of the Suns, they had lost those 2 and he was feeling down, and they were like, he was sitting there with an assistant coach. They say he's like, God, and they were like, he was like, if that was me, I would have. And they said he stopped, and they looked at him and they're like, well, finish. What would you do? And he's like, well, if I were, they're like, you're the head coach. Tell us what you would do. And so he's like, and he said it like made him click, like, oh shit, that's true. Like, I know what I'm doing up here. So then he started spitting it out. I would take Chris Paul and do this. I would do this. And that's what they started to do. So it's almost like I guess when you get into that position, maybe sometimes you start thinking you have to do things a different way, and you forget. And it like took that thing to click in him, and I thought that was pretty cool because you seen what happened after that. Like, things changed when he started thinking in that mode, like you said, as being a point guard, being in that position before, knowing what you do in the playoffs when you get in this position, when you have a guard on the other side that is a Hall of Fame guard. What do you do to this guy? Well, this, and I think that's showed. But I also believe what you said. I don't know if they have enough on Dallas, even with his knowledge of what to do. You have so many over there that you're almost picking and choosing. Like in that case, okay, let's stop Steph, because and then what do you do? You know what I mean? Like it's a different story on that one. So.
Yeah. You're like, for the Warriors, their first 4 options: Curry, Clay, Poole, Wiggins. However you want to interchange that order, it's whatever. But they can all drop 30. And then you have Draymond Green, who's a top 5 playmaker in the league. And then you have defensive wings coming off the bench. You have size when you need it. It's just a complete team. I see if the Dallas was to pull off the upset, they'd be a great matchup against the Heat. But if the Warriors were to win the Western Conference, I say the best matchup for them, like for the most entertaining finals, would be against Boston, in terms of how both teams are set up and kind of run.
That would be pretty good because Boston has the defense. They have that, people not like Dallas, that you don't have to pick and choose. They can actually cover all of them. Saying that, I'm going to get to these 2 real quick. So the over is what did we say on this one? 214. So
I'm going to take the over just because of how poorly Dallas shot. Game 2, although they're probably not going to win it, I think that, I definitely think it's going to be a closer game than game 1. But we'll see how much they can do on the defensive end. I honestly, it's just hard to tell.
Yeah, I took the over as well because I think it's going to be like one of those crazy 118, 112,
Yeah.
kind of games, because they're going to both just be shooting the lights out, him and Luka going crazy. And then here is, because you were talking about Draymond. So here is my one prop for this one. I got Curry 25 plus. That's pretty easy, right? He should nail that, no problem. Now, Draymond has to get 7 assists and 9 boards.
And how many boards?
9. And this is a plus 357. So,
How many is he averaging in the playoffs?
I don't know, but he's Draymond. I mean, he's got to get that 9, right? I mean, and that would be my one thing too, just like you. I think the board one is where I would be a little hesitant, but I mean, for 357 and only 25 for Curry, 7 assists, I think Draymond's going to get that tonight. And as long as he stays in the game. Let me see if I can find it. to here what he's averaging. But
I take it.
yeah, I mean that don't seem too bad, right? I mean at a plus 357, you know that's worth a couple of dollars. That's the only good one that I got. I mean there was all kinds of really ones that you can make money off of, like the Curry 25 and Golden State win, Curry 30 and Golden State win. You know, I think those are
Draymond 9 and 7.
yeah, 7 assists, 9 boards. Yep.
If I can
Yep.
make that a lock star, I'll make that a lock star. We had a horn.
I'm gonna write that down because I'm gonna use that. That's a lock star pick. Boom. All right. So cool. So what did you say you were gonna take though? Let's clarify that. You're gonna take the points. You're gonna give the points to 6.5. Are you taking the money line on that one?
Yeah, the spread's a little iffy.
Yeah, that's a good size one, but
If I could take a first quarter bet, I'll give it to Dallas. But I see Warriors kind of separating, especially in the second half.
I'm gonna have to look at those odds. I like that thoughts, first halves and stuff. So you just take money. I took
The first
the
quarter could be a tie game. That's my guess.
I actually gave the 6.5 this. I don't know what made me possess me to go with the points on these two games, but I think it's just because the odds are better. It's a minus 110 for the 6.5, and it's minus 260 for the money line. I figure if I think Golden State's going to win, that's two 3-pointers right there. You know, I think Steph's good for that at the end. You know, we should be able to hit that. But and then we both said over on the 214, right?
Yeah.
Both over on the 214. All right. Tatum 102. You don't think Boston's going to get that high? All right, man. I mean, those are the games. Those are the NBA playoffs right there in a nutshell, man. Let's come back and do this in a couple of days when these two games have passed, and we'll see how we did and why it went that way, and then we can go from there, because I have a feeling that we're about to get hot. I do. We're both kind of going in the same direction now, and that tells me that we're on the right track, because we're seeing, like they're saying, that Boston's defense, seeing Tatum grow like he is. I think we're hitting this, people. Get that check ready, get that money ready, because we're about to hit it. We're hitting it. I got to start. We got to figure out a way. By the way, everybody, go to Tally Sports. I have no affiliation with them. Don't have anything to do with them, but I like that site. It's where you can go. You can make your picks, and it's against. They have people from The Athletic, from all around ESPN, from all over. Writers, commentators who go on there. You make your picks. They rank you with everybody. It's really kind of a cool thing. We have an EDF one there, so I'll get you hooked up with the guy to get you in on that, and then but that's how we keep it right, and then we can show you exactly how we're doing. They're all chronicalized, so you can see it. But again, we're both on Twitter, Lockstar Picks. Follow it, make your money right there, Lockstar. Let's do this again in a couple of days, man, and see where it's all going.
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody, continue making that money, and we'll see you again.